waiting, and I was like, hold on.
Listen, I'm so used to doing it that I too haven't done it. Oh.
There's no countdown.
Hi.
I never do this, so
it's fine.
I forgot about the countdown. So sorry.
My computer has apparently with this last update, it's like logs me out of everything. So I gotta go like find passwords for everything.
That sucks. I'm sorry. I'm trying to pull up our YouTube page just to make sure that we're showing up.
Yeah, we're showing up.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, great.
It's like, oh my gosh.
Okay, I see it.
So long.
It has been a minute.
Well, actually, it feels like it's been long, but it hasn't really been that long.
I think it's been exactly a month.
Has it been a whole month? I thought yeah, actually, it's officially been a month.
Okay, that's not as bad as I thought.
No. Yeah, it just feels like it's so much longer. So,
the last live was Houston. Live from Houston. That was the last live. That was a month ago. That feels like that was years ago.
It feels so weird to even say it's a month.
I know. I'm just sitting here like, wow, it's really been a month already?
Yes. It has already been a month. It feels like it was hella long ago.
I know. I feel like so much has happened in a month.
Mm-hmm.
Also, my air conditioner is pretending like it doesn't want to cut on right now, and I'm just about to cuss it out. So just ignore me.
It's all good.
How's everybody doing?
I'm good. Y'all want a little icebreaker?
Why not? Give us an icebreaker.
Let me tell you what happened to me on Sunday. So my sister went to make this DIY project for our mom for Mother's Day. So I had to go to CVS to get the pictures. So my mom took me. She said that she would go to another part of CVS so she wouldn't see. I go to the front kiosk and I'm not paying attention. There's like 5 people in this whole CVS, okay? So I'm already having this whole problem with putting out these photos, right? Mm-hmm. So then the damn thing tells me that there's no paper for the receipt. So I asked the boy in the front, I'm just like, hey, there's no paper for the receipt. Do I need it to get the pictures? He's like, no, you're the only person over there, so it's fine. I do not look at this little boy. I don't know what he looks like. It's not in my brain, okay? So I get to the front of the cash register, right? And he's like, first of all, he's like, I'm pretty sure your pictures are printing anyway. Is it one of them a little light-skinned kid? First of all, 2 of my siblings children are light-skinned. I don't know who he was talking about. And I was just like, yeah, I'm the only person over there, so they have to be mine. Still not looking at this kid, okay? So finally, he brings me the pictures, and I'm so over it. I'm so irritated by this whole thing. And he's like, are these yours? And I looked through them, and I'm like, oh yeah, these are mine. He was just like, how old is he, may I ask? And mind you, there's 3 different children on these pictures. I'm just like, finally I look up at this boy, and he must be like 16, 17. And I'm just like, and I'm trying to figure out, like, I don't know, like, who is he asking me about? There's like 3 different kids. And so he's just like, I'm assuming they're yours. And I'm like, no, they're my niece and nephews, not actually. He was like, oh, okay, how old is, I'm just like, I just gave him a random number. I gave him one of them, and I said 7. Okay, so I'm just trying to check out. My mom's at the self-checkout now, and I'm just like, is this boy hitting on me? He's like 17. So I'm like, please.
This is disturbing.
This is so awkward. Okay. I'm just like, oh my God. So finally brings me up. Okay. And it takes him 4 freaking ever to ring me up. And he's still having a conversation with me. And I'm looking at my mom like, please come over here. Like, please save me. Like, just
damn.
Like making me so uncomfortable. So he keeps talking to me. Finally, I put my card in the chip and I'm like, have a nice day. And I walk over to my mom, who, of course, starts having problems with the cash register, with the self-checkout. And I'm just like,
of course. So you're stuck there even longer.
I'm stuck there even longer. And he's the only person up here. So he has to come help us. And I'm looking at my mom. I'm just like,
you tried.
She's like looking like, what? Like, what is it? And I'm just like, nothing. He comes over, gets super close to me, like in my bubble. And I'm like, So I like step over, and I'm just like, oh my God, this little boy will not leave me alone.
He was ready to be a stepdad, wasn't he?
Listen, I was going to say, number one, you just needed to hit him with your age. But at the same time, nowadays, I've gotten hit on by high school.
But he clearly didn't care what her age was because he thought those were her kids.
First of all, there were 3 children and an ultrasound.
He said he was ready to be CVS daddy.
Yes. Wow.
3 kids and an ultrasound. Like, he assumed that you had
ready.
3 kids and one on the way.
And one on the way, which, you know what, I could have been it because I had on this giant ass sweatshirt, this Maryland sweatshirt that was way too big for me. And so he probably thought I was pregnant. And I'm sitting there like, and so I get in the car and I tell my mom, and she was like, wow.
But here's the thing. If all of that was true, I just want him to want more for himself. I really just want him to aspire
also
for more.
It's like, baby, what were you going to do? Like,
how are you going to support 3 kids and an infant on a CVS salary?
Wait. Better question. Who the fuck do you think I am that I got 3 kids, one on the way, and ain't got no man with me? Like, why I got all these damn kids?
I just want to know who, like, you out here just popping out baby after baby after baby.
No.
And he just automatically assumed you were single and hittable. Like, what?
That's wild.
I need us to do better as a people.
I was so exhausted. That was it for Mother's Day for me. The whole day was canceled.
Oh my gosh.
Dang. Yeah, people do assume very interesting things on Mother's Day. If you look old enough to be a mom, you get wished Happy Mother's Day, even if you don't have any children with you at the time. And it's just like, I don't know how I feel about this.
I also just find it weird because it's always like I went out on Sunday. I think it was grocery shopping. And they were like, oh, getting some time away from the kids. I was like, I have none.
Yeah.
And then their response is always like, well, maybe one day. Or maybe never, because like I never want kids. Like, I am never going to celebrate Mother's Day for myself. I'm never going to be a mother. Like,
they don't want to accept it. The society at large is just now coming to terms with the fact that there are people who exist that don't want kids. They're just now starting to have that conversation. And even then, the conversation is still somewhat taboo.
Did I tell you what Coda said to me and I was helping with homework?
I'm scared.
He called me.
Kids are savage.
He had to like create sentences with his spelling words, right? And so I don't remember what the spelling word was, but he formed a sentence. This is like the 5th sentence we've been doing, okay? He's on speaker, me and my grandmother. This is right before I came out to Maryland. And he goes, first of all, he used the word wrong. And I think he said inquire was his word, okay? So he was like, I inquire Nanan to have children.
Wait, what?
So I turned it around and I said, first of all, that's not correct. But if we're going to use it incorrectly, I inquired Dakota to get out of grown folk business. And my grandmother started busting out laughing. I was like, who these kids? Listen.
How does he feel that he can demand that from you?
How old is he again? Like,
he'll be double digits this year. He's 10.
That's what stays, and he 9.
Mm-hmm. Bro, you better stay in his lane.
That's him listening to his mama too much.
That's because your sister has a baby. One of your brothers has a baby. Like, he's just thinking,
2 of my sisters have kids.
Yeah.
I always forget Kim.
Whoever he been eavesdropping in their conversation, they have a whole conversations about you and your uterus.
No, that's his mother. And I'm just like, listen, I'm gonna need y'all. I told my dad once, I was just like, listen, your obsession with my uterus make me highly uncomfortable. And he was like, you were so annoying. I'm just saying.
It's like, if you think I'm annoying, how do you think I feel about y'all?
I just want to be like, y'all don't have enough kids already? There's a lot of kids in this family.
It's a whole squad of them.
We're good.
My parents got 5 kids and 4 grandchildren.
We're good. We're at capacity right now.
We're at capacity.
That's a whole squad.
Like, what?
Yo.
Oh, man.
Y'all want to hear a Felicity update?
Oh, yes, definitely.
First of all, my sister and I have started calling her Beetlejuice because if I say her name 3 times, she calls.
No way. Stop.
Yeah, man. So She's been wilding, obviously, this past
More
month.
than usual?
More than usual because I haven't been in the office like at all.
Wait, so does she have the capacity to work from home as well? And she just
She
chooses not
does,
to?
but like because she wasn't injured or anything, she still had to come in on like our 1 day a week. And I swear you would have acted like some like it was just, how dare you? Like she, first of all, she complains,
But you have an injury.
a whole injury, which we will have to touch on in a second because like that didn't bother her. She felt like it was still unequal and that she should be allowed to stay home as well. And I was just like, Felicity, where's the logic? Because I sent a whole doctor's note.
But if the tables were turned and she was hurt,
Mm-hmm.
then she would think that it was okay that you still had to go into the office.
Yep.
Right. But Felicity doesn't believe in actual equality. Felicity believes in felicity equality. Because in the very same breath, she called me, I think a couple days ago, and she's like, hey, I need your help with something. And I'm like, cool. What's going on? She's like, I need you to run this meeting for me. Well, ain't you at work too? You can't run the meeting that you scheduled? Oh, I have an interview at 9:30. Okay, so move the meeting. Like, if you can't run the meeting that you scheduled, move the meeting. And nah, she definitely told our boss that she had a family emergency come up and that she needed to step away. And I was like, did you forget you actually told me the truth? That you had a job interview? Like, I don't speak like,
Wait,
I'll
she
say
had
I
a
have an
job
appointment.
interview somewhere else?
Yes. Like,
Was
I'll
she
say,
trying to leave?
yo, she's definitely trying to leave. And when I tell you I'm praying that she gets what she wants. Yeah.
Wow.
She takes credit. The most recent thing she's taken credit for me is the fact that as a Black woman in this office, I'm not allowed to do anything but be cheerful. She has now taken credit for that. She has now assumed that the reason that I sound so cheerful all the time during the workday is because she warned me that our big boss likes enthusiasm.
What?
What is wrong with her?
Oh, it gets so much better. Our mid-year review thing comes out because the fiscal year for the government starts in October, not at the beginning of the new year. It starts in October, which is weird, but whatever. It's 6 months for them. So they had their mid-year review. I only had my 3 month. Mine was wonderful. Guess what she got written up for? Not being enthusiastic. I kid you not. I was just like, oh my gosh, really? And she's like, yeah, I just couldn't believe them. I was like, yeah, that sounds so crazy. Like, I would have never guessed.
Stop it. This is too much.
You have yet to hear my actual voice.
Your real voice.
I have to speak in a higher register, like in general, because if I don't, I work in a particular area where like the white people act completely offended that I don't sound like I'm happy to be there. Like they've done me an honor. And that's how it's always been since I've been working. So I always go to work like, good morning. But I just don't talk most of the day. Like everybody at work thinks I'm a very quiet person. And
it's for the best.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to talk to y'all. We not friends.
Best.
Oh, and they want to go out to lunch every Wednesday. My budget does not allow that.
Every Wednesday?
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday of the calendar. Every single one.
Every single Wednesday they go out for lunch.
Well, why?
They were like, yeah, even today, it was like, hey, Brittany. It was her and like another white guy. And they were like, hey, Brittany, you should come with us. You haven't come with us all month. Well, I've been on crutches all month. So like,
you haven't come with us all month.
Yeah, I was like, I haven't even been here the whole month. Like,
wow.
I just started walking regularly and I'm actually wore out from the walk from the parking garage to the 14th floor of this building. So like, I'm a chill.
They seem very self-absorbed.
It's very interesting because it'll be like, oh my gosh, what happened? And I was like, yeah, I tripped and fell and it was a far harder fall than anybody could have anticipated. And they're like, oh, that sucks. Yeah, I remember the last time that I did it. And I'm just like.
And they just make it about themselves.
Yeah, because it's like, I just want y'all to understand that I'm not going to tell y'all my whole life story.
But that's what they want.
Yeah, they're so pressed that I don't want to do like the camaraderie thing. They were like, we should do happy hour on Wednesday evenings. I'm like, we're
Question:
not friends.
do they not want to go to their homes?
No.
Seriously,
I'm convinced.
I once read this Reddit thread that talked about, it's not really related, but it's kind of related. It talked about how in corporate America, the reason why they fight back against work from home so much is because the higher ups like hate their home lives.
Well, I believe it.
Like especially a lot of the men, they like hate their wives, hate their kids, hate their partners, don't want to go home ever. So the idea of work from home is like horrible. Like they stay at the office as long as possible. They make up excuses to stay longer. They'll take work home so they don't have to talk to their family. Yes. When they go on work trips and they can actually invite their significant other, they don't, because they don't even want to spend time with them. I'm like,
it's true, because my previous big boss, he legit was like, you have to sacrifice to make it in this company. Like, I missed out on all the important events of my kids' lives, but they understood that I was doing what I needed to do to get food on the table. And I was like, and that's why you also have 3 divorces. Like, I'm not giving up my life for this job. I'm doing the very bare minimum for this job, get my paycheck. And I literally, it's so bad that luckily I now have a supervisor that completely gets it. He is all about taking your personal time, and he is all about like working like your specific time. Because he'll be like, oh, Brittany, make sure you come in tomorrow around 7. I'm like, okay, why? He's like, well, we have to have a meeting with this group, and the earliest time that we can meet is tomorrow, but the meeting's supposed to go on for an hour starting at 3. And I was like, thank you for respecting the fact that at 4 o'clock I'm out. Like,
right.
Thank you for the respect, sir. I really appreciate this. This is wonderful. It's nice. But yeah, no, Felicity is on one. I am praying for Felicity to get the job that she wishes to have so she can stop taking credit for me just existing.
That's so crazy. I can't get over that.
Yeah.
Do you just go along with it and you go, I know, thank you so much for all your advice? Or
no, I do the typical Black girl thing of, oh, word? Oh, word.
I can just see it being like, oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because most of the time, luckily, you know, we're on computers. So I'll just be like, oh, wow. Because I'm like, girl, are you delusional? Like,
she's delusional. She's absolutely delusional.
Like the moment we were able to work in the workforce, since slave days, we've had this attitude about working for y'all. Like,
oof.
Yes.
Dang. Well, I don't have any news of the magnitude of you guys to share.
Okay.
But we don't really have a topic for tonight. But we do have a couple things that have happened lately in the world that we can discuss. Everything from, you know, Taylor Swift fans losing their goddamn minds because of who she's dating to, I don't know, all of Black America losing their minds because a rich Black woman doesn't want to date a bus driver. Let's talk about it.
I still don't get that one.
Let's discuss.
Where do we, okay, wait. Let's do the easy topics first.
Okay.
The insanity of some people's fans and their
out of control. The fandoms are out of control. We need some type of mental health evaluation for some of these fandoms. I thought the Barbs were the worst. You know, I thought the Beliebers were bad. I thought the Beehive. Oh my God. I actually reorganize my list.
Listen,
Beehive was the worst.
I have seen some horrible things from each one of these fandoms.
Listen,
so it's really hard to do a hierarchy.
Top 4 in no particular order.
Yes.
Barbs, Beehive, BTS fans, and Taylor Swift fans.
Yeah.
Yes.
Horrible.
I feel like Selena Gomez fans get an honorable mention because the way they have ruined that Haley girl's life for the past 2 months is wild.
For that, but that one was actually funny to me.
I mean, the fact that they have been continuing to ruin her life is wild. But I'm just like, these fans are out of
like I said
order.
on the chat. I would love for somebody to do a 10-year study on like a group, like take a group of 2 or 3 people from each fandom that are like the super go hard fans and like follow them for 10 years and like see how they operate, because
I just want to know what has to go wrong on the night that you were conceived. I'm sorry. I'm dead serious. For something went wrong. There was, I don't know. But
it took me out when you said that. I was like, oh.
I would be so embarrassed if my child was like this. I'd be like, please.
There had to have been something chemically that didn't work out for you to be born predispositioned to be that involved with the celebrity that literally could not care if you lived or died, if you breathed, if you have a job, if you have a place to live, if you're homeless, if you got hit by a bus. They don't care.
They really don't. They literally just want your money.
I don't. And these people go to bat for them. They be doxing people. They be harassing people. They be sending death threats. The death threats thing really has me just.
My whole thing with that is just like, so y'all got on the computer and said, I'm a cape for this rich person who got lawyers that sue at the drop of a dime for like everything and anything.
Yes.
But you think you are the person that's gonna like really be the Cape Crusader. I just want to know what is it like, because I never thought to go cut somebody out in the honor of a celebrity.
Never. You're going to use your free, precious, limited time on this planet to spend hours online harassing people on the behalf of somebody that's worth millions.
You probably just got home from work like 30 minutes before you started.
If they have a job.
That's the real question. I have an aneurysm behind some rich person. That just ain't gonna be me.
No, it's like I look at my bank account and it doesn't look good.
I just think about how much money I paid to see her in concert, and she gave me no rebates. She gave me nothing for free. In fact, the merch list has not even been listed yet, and I don't even know how much that's gonna cost. Wow. I need an outfit, plane ticket. She didn't pay for any of this.
Nope.
I'm good.
Yeah, I don't get it. I really, really don't. And I think that it has become this type of weird parasocial thing where these stans feel, and somebody brought up a good point, because they were like, we've been discussing stan culture, but let's not forget the origin of the word stan, which literally came from that Eminem song about that fan that was so unhinged that he unalived his entire family and was like trying to actually harm the person he was a stan of. Like, that's actually where that term originated from. And I feel like
I don't know when it crossed over either. Like when did, because like, we're all millennials here. So like when we were kids, there was nothing funny about being a stan. Like, you're a psychopath. And then like,
that's because Gen Z kind of took it and they repurposed it to be something cute and fun, and a lot of them don't actually know the origin of the term and how it is actually a negative thing. They've made it positive, and I really do think that it's gotten out of hand, especially because I feel like it's especially bad on TikTok. Things didn't really get bad until TikTok took off, to me, because Twitter was bad at times, but it was like people just log off and you just move on with your life.
Twitter is actually still worse.
You think?
Because they take the TikTok videos and put them on Twitter.
Okay.
And then the doxing happens on Twitter.
Okay.
And like Twitter is still like the main
stuff. And you know what kills me? It's not like they're doxing somebody who's a pedophile. They're not doxing someone who murdered a whole family. You're doxing 15-year-old Georgia Pine who lives in Kansas City.
Yeah.
He doesn't like
because Beyonce. She said that your favorite artist was overrated. Now you done doxed her grandma.
Yes.
You done started emailing her dad's job. Like,
right. It's very extreme. It's very, very extreme. And I think that there's something to be said for like mental health and how it plays a part, and also how people live vicariously through their favorite celeb, and they don't want to admit that they're living vicariously through this person. And they're actually like, in a weird way, they feel like they are this person, or they know this person so closely, when you don't know. Like, we don't know anything about Beyonce. She purposefully makes sure that we don't know anything about her. Purposefully. We don't know that lady. So it's like,
what? They talked about Blue Ivy too much for us to know anything else about her life.
No, we don't know anything about her life. We don't know what's going on in her marriage. We don't know anything. We know the music. That's all she gives us is the music, the looks, the amazing shows, and the performances. That's it. She doesn't even do interviews.
She sure doesn't.
And you know what's so crazy about the whole doxing thing? You really got to be careful because you can't even like make fun of anyone. Not saying you should make fun of someone, but you could be doing the bare minimum making fun of someone and they will dox you. You'll be all over TikTok, all over Twitter, all over Instagram, all over everything. They'll be calling up your bosses and everything.
Yes.
I'm just like, all of that over like one comment that you don't even get that big of a deal.
You remember that one time Nicki Minaj was coming for all those TikTok people that were making videos about how they're like disappointed with her behavior and stuff? And how like the majority of the people that she commented under, the Barbs like started sending them death threats and was like actually sending them like lettered death threats.
Yes.
I'm like
it's psychopathic. And the part that people don't want to talk about is that, okay, so you have this toxic stan culture where, you know, people harassing people online and then doxing them and it spills over into offline into the real world. But then it kind of starts this storm where you have people who are on the outskirts of it who are not stans, but they like make their money off of, you know, YouTube videos or TikTok videos and they're trying to go viral. They like kind of latch on like a parasite to the story or whatever is going on. And all of a sudden they're making like conspiracy videos and they're making like videos being like, oh my God, let's watch their body language. All of a sudden we got body language videos. We get, oh my God, lip sync videos that we think they said this and we think they said this. And we get all these weird analysis videos like, oh, they wore this on a Tuesday and they raised their hand 5 times. And I'm just like, what is happening? It's insane. So it's not only do you have the stans and who are insane, then you have the people who feed off of the chaos that the stans create online because they're also trying to go viral and they're trying to piggyback off of the scandal by making these dumbass videos. And I'm just like, this is out of control. And there's no sense of shame. Like there's no sense of like, I shouldn't add to this fire. I should not be a part of this. They jump into the circus because they want to go viral and they want to get recognition. And I'm just like, this is crazy.
Did y'all hear about how Taylor Swift fans made a book flop?
What?
Yeah. So a week or two ago, it was announced that this book was coming out and it was written by a celebrity, but it was a mystery celebrity. And for some reason, some Taylor Swift theorist had like looked at some numbers and figured out that obviously these numbers added together equals 13, which is Taylor Swift's favorite number, and it's coming out on the 13th. So obviously this has to be the mystery celebrity's biography has got to be Taylor Swift. So of course because I believe like you can be like a Beehive member or a Barb or whatever, but then there's the insane one. So the insane Swifties pre-ordered the book at an alarming rate, put it on the bestseller list, you know, found out that it wasn't in fact Taylor Swift and pulled all their pre-orders, thus flopping the book.
Stop.
I'm not even joking. You can look it up. It's real. It's very real.
Yo.
Yeah. Because at no point did Taylor ever say that this was confirmed or anything.
Sometimes I wonder, from the luxury of her private jet, does Taylor Swift ever just sip in her damn champagne? Is she just like, what in the actual fuck is my life? Like sometimes I just wonder if she's just sitting there like, what is actually wrong with these people?
Yeah. I'm serious. If you look it up, it's a real story. I'm not joking with y'all.
No, I know it's a real story. I knew that they pre-ordered it and thought it was Taylor.
Yeah, I looked it up.
I never got an update on that.
Not them rescinding their pre-order. Cancel.
It's so bad. I'm not sure if the book actually got released or if they're like gonna try like a different, because they never revealed like who the celebrity author was.
Wow.
It was supposed to be a part of the marketing for it to be a mystery. And somehow the insane Swifties got a hold of it and turned it into this, oh my gosh, this matches because Taylor said this, and this. So obviously she was referring to, like, they created this whole thing. And like, when I tell you, if you had gone to the mystery book on Amazon, it was already being marked as like big talk. And it went from being number 1 to number 53 in like a day. And then like just off the whole list.
Wait, you want to hear another crazy Swiftie story? Okay, this will be my last thing saying about them, because I obviously I'm a Taylor Swift fan, but this is so insane.
No, you are a fan. You are not a stan.
We're not a stan. We're not fans of her. We're actually just fans of her music, like normal people.
At one of the shows,
and I also still say fuck that bitch.
After one of the shows, obviously it was in Houston, but at one of the shows after Houston, Taylor's song Marjorie is about her grandmother who passed away when she was like 13 or something, whatever. Okay, a whole bunch of fans during Marjorie lifted up pictures of her dead grandmother.
Yes. They found photos of Marjorie, printed them out, and they were like in the front where the front of the stage where she could clearly see. So the way that she tried to hold her composure when she saw those photos, she was just like, oh wow. But I know inside she was like, what the actual fuck? Because that would be my response. Is on the inside, I'd be like, what an invasion of privacy. Like, are there no boundaries? There are no boundaries. And I guess they thought it would be a good idea.
But Read, Love, Listen also brought up something earlier where it's like a lot of these people don't have like good relationships in real life. And so they create these parasocial relationships.
Why couldn't they just put Marjorie on the poster? Why did it have to be her face?
But the fact that they went and found pictures of her dead grandmother is absolutely so unhinged.
It's psychotic. And they thought it was a good idea. Like,
well, One Direction fans found Harry Styles' birth certificate and sent it to his mother, and his mom was just like, how did you find this?
That's not something they should be able to get legally.
I don't know how England works, so let's leave it at that.
But that's also, terrifying. If y'all want to do all of this, could y'all like tap into some bank accounts and like bless us?
Listen, my dad has always said
something good.
That the wrong people know how to hack shit. He's like, if I had hacking skills, I ain't hacking no celebrity nudes. I'm hacking Bank of America.
First of all, nobody would have loans. Nobody. Now what? Everybody would be loan free.
Yes.
We are starting on a blank sheet, like paid.
And I guess that's the saddest part, is that so much energy is being used for something so frivolous and meaningless, like caring about these super rich people and what they're doing and defending them, which is wild to me, when you could use all that power for good. Like y'all say, why not dox, your neighborhood predator? Why not expose?
Why not dox all these politicians and stuff and put their dirty laundry out where we can get them out of office?
Exactly.
Like, I'm still shocked to this day because, like Anonymous in their group, they be working overtime against these politicians, which I'm always here for. But I'm like, DeSantis literally just passed a law that got rid of all D9.
Yes.
But he just also signed the law where Asian American history and stuff is still supposed to be taught in schools, but also signed a law that said Chinese Americans and Chinese descendants and immigrants cannot purchase land. So it's like, I know Ron DeSantis has a whole basement of skeletons.
A whole basement.
Why don't y'all take some of that energy and dig some skeletons up?
Agreed.
Because y'all clearly have the skills. I think that's the part that kills me. They clearly have the skills necessary to do some real damage.
Yes.
But instead, they decide to go look up a girl's dead grandmother and get her on a poster.
Yeah, that's wild.
Just.
I don't know. There definitely is going to be some type of psychology class on stands in a college soon.
I hope somebody has already started the research, because this stuff, not only that, but I want brain scans.
Mm-hmm.
I want actual brain scans to show like what happens. Like I want them to have like the whole scan thing set up. And I want them to go on Twitter and monitor what happens when they see somebody talking about their fave.
And I think for me, the craziest thing is, and I think this can be specifically seen with the whole Selena Gomez drama that's been going on this whole year.
Which part? Hailey Bieber or Francia?
Both. They go so hard for this woman, but like, you don't know her. You don't know if she's a good person, if she's a bad person. You know, she has a great PR team, and, you know, they're really good at making her look good and sweeping all her drug overdoses and rehab visits under the rug. And that's fine. But it's like, and people can change. I'm not saying they can't, but we don't know this woman. We do not know anything about her. I mean, I really like her lip glosses and her eyes and her cream blushes, but that doesn't mean I know her. Like,
also, like, there's no way that I'm giving you a kidney and then your fans attack me. It's never happening. When I tell you at this point, I would be airing out all your shit.
Well, look, I have to say that you really should not give kidneys to people that are addicts. You really shouldn't. It's just not something that should be done. Like, they will, like, I'm thinking of a friend of mine right now who, I'm not going to mention their name because it's not my business, but this is just an example, and I know they won't care if I say it. But their family member, a cousin of theirs, is on their second kidney. They got a kidney transplant from one of their parents, drank that one away. They got another kidney transplant from another parent, so both parents gave them a kidney, and they're now on dialysis. They're not going to make it to the third kidney because you best believe they're pretty low on the list. No other family member is going to give them a kidney. So they're on dialysis, and they're probably going to die on dialysis waiting for a damn kidney. So do not give kidneys to people that are addicts. Like, it doesn't work out. Like, you might mean well. You want to say, well, actually, her HIPAA rights were violated. So it's not even about meaning well. She was actually swindled out of her kidney. But that's a whole nother story.
Which is a whole other issue. Which is why I really be sitting there like, I just need y'all to, like Francia is better than me on so many different ways and so many different levels. Because the moment that my HIPAA rights were violated, I would have been suing Selena and the hospital and the person who told her specifically. Everybody would have been sued at that very moment, and I would have still had both kidneys. Let's just be very clear. Like, what?
My favorite tweets are the ones that are like, the way I would put her under and cut my kidney out of her. Like, stop.
Okay, that's another level of whoa.
Y'all going too far. Like, that kidney's gone. It's just kiss that kidney goodbye. Chalk it up to a costly mistake.
Who I'm actually starting to become a stan of?
Who?
Holly's stylist.
Oh, yes.
Listen.
Her outfits have been on point for this Little Mermaid premiere on
Glam Squad.
Point.
Every single one of the Glam Squad could teach a masterclass and I would pay for it.
Yes.
Because they said, you will see her as the Little Mermaid and we're going to start this at the Oscars.
Yes.
And every time y'all see her from then on out, you're going to think mermaid.
Yes.
It's like, today we're going to give you waves. We're going to give you coral. We're going to give you pearls. It's like her and Keke Palmer stylist, because Keke got mama body and decided she was going to show the fuck out.
She has really stepped it up, and I really appreciate that.
I was like, hello, Keke. Hello, Mother Keke.
But she also just looks
childbearing hips now.
She also just looks very happy.
She does.
And I think that is what we're all being drawn to, is how happy she looks and content with her life. And it's just nice. It's nice to see.
Well, she's been very open about her PCOS and the struggles that she's had with it and how she's always wanted to have kids. So it's one of those things where it's like, oh, that is just really beautiful. But also Keke like reaffirmed that Hinge is ghetto for me, so that was also a good thing for her.
Not Hinge is ghetto.
You didn't see the interview that she did?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh, she did an interview where she was basically talking about how like dating has been like absolutely ghetto, and like how she had gotten so down so bad that she got on Hinge and like people didn't believe that she was her.
I wouldn't either.
And I was like, I too would have thought that you were catfishing.
Mhm.
Like, obviously, you're
Yes.
a little too famous to be on Hinge.
I
Like,
know, at least beyond. What's the other one that you need references for? I can't remember what it's
I
called.
don't know, but be on the rich person one.
That's the one. There's
Yeah.
one where you literally have to have references and a certain follower account to even be approved to be on there.
Yeah. I was like, dang, but that's how she described like how low it had gotten.
That's
And
so
I was like, Kiki, I feel you, sis, but I'm never getting back on another app for as long as I live.
yeah,
Like,
it's not worth it.
ever. Also, I think my friend is listening to this today, so she's gonna get a full cackle out of this.
Oh, well, I'm glad it worked out for Simone Biles. Her and her husband are adorable.
Also, their court wedding was bomb, and people really need to stop being miserable that she didn't do all this extra stuff. She got married in court at the courthouse, and then they went to Mexico or whatever, and had the real wedding.
Mhm.
They were already married.
Yes.
Already had the documents, and homeboy still cried.
I just think him seeing her in her dress and her walking down the aisle, he seems
That's
like a really nice
the only
guy.
acceptable energy that I'm on, because like they already got married. They had already taken photos. She had already been in one dress.
That's
He was
actually
already
genius.
married.
All the
I
stress
know.
and stuff over. You can
Over.
have fun at the reception.
Yeah.
At the
Well, I
actual-
knew they had fun at the reception because that one photo where his boys are holding him up and she's
Mhm.
like, I was like, oh, y'all partied.
Yeah.
Y'all really
It could
partied.
have happened to a nicer Olympian. Like, she's just a sweet, sweet person. And he seems like a good person. So it's a nice match. It's like, oh, two good people found each other. That's nice.
Oh my gosh, this is a very good point. Did y'all see Janelle Monáe's new video?
No.
Yes.
Girl, you haven't seen it?
Mm-mm.
So after this, you're watching Janelle Monáe's new video.
Why?
Let's just say that Janelle Monáe embodies this level of freedom that I wish I had. But obviously she has a level of money that enables this freedom that like I will never have.
Gotcha.
But it also reaffirmed to me that the parties that she be posting on Instagram, the parties be lit in a whole different way than I thought, but still lit nonetheless. And I would totally go to one of her parties, sit in one of her floaties with a nice little drink and watch.
Okay.
Also, yeah, don't watch it in public. Watch that in private.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
if you go to
Okay.
YouTube, it will say that this like adult content.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
She was so confused.
I don't know how to say it. Like any
Janelle
other-
Monáe?
First of all, Janelle Monáe has always been very free with her music.
But she's like quirky and out of the box and like very, very creative. So my mind is going places that I don't know if it should
all
go.
I'm gonna say is
I wish this would
Every-
have come out when we were all at Britney's house.
I wish with all my heart and soul that it would have came out while y'all were here, because we would have been on the couch probably replaying it and like finding different parts to look at. Like, oh my God, look at the corner right there.
Just have fun.
Yeah, enjoy. I refuse to tell you anything about the video
You
because
just gonna segue to the bus driver because I just can't.
the first time I watched it, I was like, hello, Janelle. All right. It's like, y'all parties look lit though.
Wow, I'm definitely watching it immediately.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
So Ebony K. Williams got dragged for telling Iyanla Van Zant that she wouldn't date a bus driver. Let's discuss.
I'm
What
still so
part do we wanna
confused.
touch on first?
I saw her on Charlemagne, but I was so
I
confused.
trust
about the-
nothing when it's on Charlemagne's anything.
Well, Liz, it was a clip on Twitter,
Yeah.
and she was talking about it, and I have no idea. I was just like, wait, what did she say about being a bus driver?
I just don't understand if she is a highly educated woman who is literally a millionaire and a lawyer. Why does she have to date a bus driver if she doesn't want to?
Can I touch on this from a different perspective
I don't
first? Because
understand why.
obviously this is something that I'm being plagued with literally as we speak with my grandmother. There is something about the older generation of women, especially Black women, when talking to their now successful granddaughters and things of that nature, where they always put on this idea that it doesn't matter what you accomplish in your life, like you're not going to be accomplished until you have a man. And like, because this happens with me and my grandma on a regular basis, because my grandma hit me with something like that on Mother's Day. And basically the conversation was, she was like, because she talked to me about that. She's like, would you date a bus driver? I was like, no. She's like, why not? Why at my 34-year-old age, where I own all these things on my own and I do all these things on my own, would I lower my standard of living to be able to date somebody at that point? Because I want to do stuff with my significant other. I would have to go within his means. And I'm not trying to be funny or shady or gold dig. You can call me whatever you want. We're not on the same playing field.
I just
where
feel
I
like
am in my life does not match his life. And it will never match his life.
White women don't get these questions. White women of higher social class do not get these questions. Latino and Latina women do not get these questions. Indian women do not get these questions. All other Hispanic women. I mean, I could just go on. Definitely Asian women definitely don't get these questions, because everybody knows that if you're broke, Asian women aren't even looking at you.
If you're broke, focus on you. That's all you can afford.
And that's not to say that bus drivers are broke, because people brought up some good points. Like, depending on what city and where you are, bus drivers can make six figures, and that's wonderful.
Which is also very true. But she didn't close it like that, though.
It's not even just that. It's like the underlying thing that I feel like as a community we don't discuss, and I find that to be very disingenuous and just strange, is the social hierarchy. Like, when you have somebody like Ebony K. Williams, who literally came from nothing and essentially pulled herself up by her bootstraps, like the Republicans always love to tell us we can do, and made it to a certain level of success, she has single-handedly upped her social status and her social class in one generation. She has gone from a lower class to now she's very comfortably in upper middle class, if not upper class, right? What in the world is she going to have in common with a blue-collar worker like a bus driver? Nothing against bus drivers whatsoever. But marriages and partnerships are built on commonalities. They're built on you having things to talk about, having similar interests, having things to do that you like to do together. So I'm confused how a woman who literally went to law school, is a lawyer, is a millionaire, has written books, what would she have in common with a bus driver? I just don't get it. And nobody wants to have that conversation. And when you bring it up, they're like, oh, well, that doesn't mean that bus drivers aren't smart. I didn't say that. Well, that doesn't mean that they can't like this and that. I didn't say that. But what is the likelihood that the things that she enjoys doing and things that she finds stimulating is going to be on the same even playing field as somebody who is a bus driver?
I'm not dating somebody that cannot not only provide for themselves, but splurge on themselves. It's just what it is. That's where I'm at in my life. And I know somebody's going to think it. I've dated far broker men in my life. All of my exes in my adult life made substantially less than me. And you know what they did for me? Their insecurities, because of the toxic masculine idea that the only way you can provide is materialistically, created nothing but a therapy bill for me.
You're not wrong. Nobody wants to talk about like how men's egos are affected when they're dating a woman who makes more than them, who maybe has a higher level of education than them. Like, I have met so many men who are like, oh, use those big words. You don't need to use those big old words. And I'm just like,
I don't need to help you sleep at night.
It's like, I don't.
Beautiful mattress I bought.
It's like, no, I don't need to use these words. Why are you always reading? You're always reading.
Oh my God. I hate that question with the passion because it just makes me sad.
And it's just like, wow. It's one of those things where it's like, again, I feel like women of other races and cultures don't really get asked this question. But I feel like when Black women aspire to more, especially when they have achieved a lot in their lives, and okay, it's not always about achievements. It's not always about money and status and things like that. But there are very real things that come with that. That when you have had the type of drive and passion to kind of raise yourself up out of poverty and achieve all these things for yourself, you're not really going to be able to come together with somebody who is just doing the bare minimum and just skating by and has no type of like impetus or any type of like drive in themselves to want more. They're just fine where they're at. And it's like, that's fine. They need to go find somebody else who's also fine where they're at. It's not a good matchup.
I
It
find
doesn't
it
make sense.
misogynoir. Because think about it. I'm going to use myself as an example because this is the only way I can get it across. I just literally just had this conversation with my grandmother on Sunday, because you tried my life. But it's like, okay, we're going to take me. I'm 34 years old, no kids. I make well over 6 figures. I have my own house. I have no debt. My cars are paid off. I just do what I want, essentially. As a guy, you would not ask me if I was going to date a bus driver.
Oh, absolutely not.
As a guy, you would not be telling me to lower my standards. As a guy,
let me play devil's advocate for a second, because these men love to say they don't care about a woman's career or her accomplishments. They only care what she looks like, and they just need to be attracted to her. She could be a waitress. She could work at McDonald's. She could be a bottle server at a club. She could work at a gas station. They don't care.
Believe it. I truly believe that they believe that. But the part that cracks me up about that one statement is always, then they be hollering about how she don't got a mind of her own and all this other foolishness when they get bored.
You can't not win.
There is no winning as a Black woman in this conversation, because if you accept, if I date somebody that is, a bus driver that makes, substantially less than me, all I'm going to hear is, so you're going to be taking care of a grown man? So you're going to be doing X, Y, and Z for this man? He can't do nothing for you. But if I don't want him, oh, your standards are too high. You're never going to be happy if you're trying to work about a man who has money. I literally told my grandma the other day, I was like, money does not buy happiness. It buys comfortableness. So I'm going to be comfortable over here with no man, versus going to spend my coin on a man to make a man like me. For what? Like, for what? We're at a place. And then this another thing is, I think Black people as a whole struggle with this idea that Black women are not the detriment to the Black community or the Black family. That we literally started having to seek independence from the same white supremacist patriarchal system that was putting them in jail. And the cause and effect of that has created women like my mother, who was like, get an education, get your own, and then worry about getting married. Whereas before, it's make sure you look the prettiest. Do you have the best manners? Do you have the best dresses? We want to attract the wealthiest guy. It doesn't matter if he's old. It doesn't matter if he's scum, but he makes enough money to take care of you, and he can be super rich. And that's all that matters. And it's like, I think that while women have been learning how to progress into this age where we are, men are not being taught that just having a job is no longer enough. Like, we're seeking actual companionship now that requires active communication, some form of emotional intelligence, a grip and understanding of your own personal self. Like, we're seeking things that are not tangible from the material world. And the older generation does not get that. And they do not accept that at all. Especially a lot of our grandmothers, because they grew up in a time where they just needed to look pretty and know how to cook and push out babies. And I have all the utmost respect for everything that my grandmother did and became as a woman in her time. But the lack of respect for the women that we are now has created this whole idea that somehow we're allowed to keep progressing, but we're supposed to accept the man that was acceptable decades ago.
You said a whole sermon. I think it's that women have been forced to evolve because we had no choice, and men have not, because it's been their world for so long. And the way that they were used to being acceptable was just to have the money and to have the home and that made you attractive enough. That made you an attractive mate. You didn't have to work on yourself. You didn't have to be compassionate, kind, supportive, loyal, faithful. You didn't have to have any of these qualities, right? All you had to have was enough money, a home for her, to put her up in, to have your kids, and that was it. And that
You
made
didn't have to be an active father.
No, you did not. And that made you an attractive mate. That made you a catch, somebody to be fought over, right? Someone to be won. And times have changed. And I think that that's where we get the disconnect between the sexes. For those seeking heterosexual normative relationships, there is a disconnect because women have had to progress, and we've had to do it in such a short period of time, and it's happened so fast that it's almost like men are just now waking up and being like, wait a second, me just having a job isn't enough. Like me just being a bus driver, someone like Ebony K. Williams doesn't think that I'm good enough for her.
They're offended. How dare you?
They're extremely
you're
offended.
too good for me. And it's like,
it's not about being too good or too bad, because being a bus driver, there's nothing wrong with
nothing wrong with being a bus driver.
Worker. There's absolutely nothing wrong with, being content where you are. I actually think that that's a good trait, but I do think it's a bad match for someone who is constantly striving for more and more and more and more and more. They need to match with somebody who's like them. Otherwise, that union is ultimately going to fail. And nobody wants to talk about that because women are demonized.
It was a bad idea.
What now?
So I've tried it already. I dated a guy who had zero ambition. I dated a guy that did not feel like he needed to elevate anything. And when I would bring it up, he would get mad. And it always turned into arguments where it was like, why won't you try? And his response would be like, I don't really know what I want to do. I don't think I have any ideas of what I want to do. But whenever I would come up with an idea, he would like want to piggyback off of my ideas and like what I was doing. And when I would be like, like this is not something that I feel like this is kind of an idea that I don't think you have the things that I need for this, it would turn into a whole other argument. It's like, even Black Christians, when they talk about equally yoked, I'm like, equally yoked also is a mindset.
It's a mindset. Like, you have to have someone, because it's like she said, and I mean, and her response was, if he owned the bus company.
If he owned the bus company, which was my response.
So right there, that's her saying, that's my mindset. I like to own, right? I'm an owner. I don't like to work for anyone else. I like to build my own. So I'm looking for a man who wants the same things. And Iyanla Vanzant, being of the old school, turned it into, that's wrong. Why wouldn't you take him? But then she contradicted herself by saying she would date a bus driver, but she would get a prenup.
But did you see the article where she stated that like she doesn't want to get married ever? Like they bought up that article that
because she has 2 failed marriages behind her. I wouldn't want to get married again.
I'm tired of people with failed marriages feeling like they're the people who could tell me that my standards are too high. Her and Steve Harvey both can kick rocks.
Well, can we also talk? Well, Steve Harvey actually doesn't. Well, that's a whole different conversation. But can we also talk about the fact that she said that, or no, not she said, but she, well, actually she did. In one of her shows, she talked about how she did marry down and this man basically ruined her life.
Thank you. I was just about to bring that up. I was like, somebody posted a clip where she talked about exactly what she was telling Ebony to do.
I don't know. I just think that the older generation needs to be okay with women of our time and women who are younger than us maybe not getting married, maybe staying single, or maybe getting married when we're older, or maybe not having kids because you're not rushing to get married so you can have a kid. Because it's better to be celebrated for who you are and accepted than to lower your standards and get with somebody just because they're telling you that your standards are too high, only for them to ruin your life, only for them to take away your peace, ruin your credit, you go into bankruptcy, like them taking you to court. Have you heard about these Black women who do marry down and these men divorce them and take them to court for everything and get alimony? Like, it's insane. It's just like, it's okay that you have a granddaughter or a daughter or a niece who is extremely successful and doing well for herself, and she's alone right now because she's not willing to settle for less. She's not going to die. It's okay.
That's the other thing I told my grandma. I literally told my grandma, I was like, you do, because she was like, I just want you to be happy. And I was like, why do you assume that I'm not happy because I'm single? I'm like, is that not wild? I was like, you assume, like, I just told you about how my friends came into town and how everything was great till my clumsy ass ruined everything. And I'm telling her all these happy things that have happened in my life and how I'm like excited for Beyonce. And she, obviously my grandma is my ancestor. So like,
you're not happy unless you're in a relationship. That's how she interprets everything.
She heard a voice from my TV and was like, I hear a voice. It was a guy's voice. I was like, Grandma, it's the TV. She's like, I guess I should have known you weren't going to have a man in there. I was like,
that's a lot.
I was like, Grandma, that was really
what
rude.
though? I'm starting to think that with your grandma and women like her, what it is, it's actually a cry out from their soul, because for you to reject everything that she built her life upon, it's like an identity crisis. It's like a crisis of conscience. It's like saying, oh my God, was everything I did wrong then? Does that make sense?
Kind of. I mean, but we've actually had whole conversations where I was like, Grandma, like, you paved the way, like, that I don't have to do what you did, because like you did it already. Like, everything that you had to go through as a woman in your 20s, I never even had to think about that. I'm like, and then my mama came and it was even less for her. So obviously it's way less for me. Like, we've had whole conversations where it's like, I need you to actually be proud of what you've produced.
I honestly think it is because what you're saying making sense, but I feel like this ideology is irrational. So it's not going to make sense, because it kind of reminds me of people who are constantly telling single people that they need to get married and have kids. But then you look at their lives and they're miserable. They like hate their partner. They hate their kids. They're like pissed off every day. And they make those type of jokes where they're like, don't have kids, it'll ruin your life. And then they laugh and they're like, I'm just kidding.
God, that is always so
great.
awkward.
I love my kids. And you're like,
it's like, you're laughing, but I'm not.
Or like their husband won't do something, like he didn't take out the trash or he forgot their anniversary or something. And she'll just be like, don't get married. Worst decision ever. I'm just kidding. I love him. He just, doesn't do everything. And I'm like, what is going on? And it's like that weird where you're like, I don't think you're joking. I think that you're actually
it's like, I feel like you're trying to get it out your system.
But like misery loves company, because then they're trying to set you up with like their cousin or their you know what I'm saying? And they're always constantly like, you're not getting any younger. Those eggs are drying up. You need to have kids. But then 2 conversations ago, they were talking about how they haven't slept in 5 years since they had a kid and they're miserable. And you're like, which one is it? Which one? You want me to have kids so I could be miserable like you? Oh, honey.
I think another thing that just cracks me up. My grandma didn't realize, or she used to say that me not wanting kids was a phase, that it was a feminist phase. And like, she's still shocked because she asked me on Sunday if I wanted to have kids. And I was like, Grandma, like, at no point do I ever. Nothing is coming out of this uterus. In fact, if I could get them to take the uterus, they could take that out. That's the only thing that would be coming out. And my grandma was like...
She was probably shocked.
She was shocked. And like, she sounded like genuinely offended that like, I didn't want to use my uterus, to the point where she went to this whole thing about like, like, that's what God made us for. And da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, Grandma, you're going to stop letting misogynistic forms of Christianity run our conversations, because that's not what God created me for. If he did, I would want kids.
I mean, it's just like being a parent isn't just something you do because you have the equipment for it.
Right.
It does children a huge disservice. Like,
That's why we've got so many kids in foster care and stuff right now, because all these unqualified people pushed out a baby and aren't doing what it takes to raise them in healthy, non-harmful environments. I'm not saying that that's how I would treat my kid. I'm just saying that I feel like the life that I want to have does not involve children. It involves a husband, hopefully, but if it doesn't, I'm also still going to live this great life that I'm trying to make. So we've already talked about it. If I mess up and get pregnant, that's the only way I'm having a kid. And even then, it's still a 50-50 chance, because if I'm in the right state, we might delete his fetus. So,
Brittany, not you saying that on this live.
I don't care. Like, I have the choice to do what I want with my body. So if somebody wants to comment about how that was inappropriate, I don't care.
Look, everyone has a right to choose what type of life they want for themselves. It is 2023. Women do not have to feel forced to have children anymore. Thank God. And I just feel like having a child should be something that's taken a little bit more seriously than just, you have a uterus, use it. Like it goes a little bit deeper than that, because children really do take over your life, and you have to be willing to sacrifice everything for your kids. And if you're not in a place where you're willing to do that, from the littlest things like you never being able to sleep in ever again, because even when they move out, they have emergencies and their cars break down and they don't have AAA, and they need you to come get them from here, and they need you to come get them from there, and this is happening. I know this because I did this to my parents. So say goodbye to sleeping in. Say goodbye to actually any type of peaceful sleep, because you're worried that they're going to freaking be murdered. Say goodbye to so many things. Just say goodbye for the rest of your life. Just say goodbye. So if you're not willing to do that, because I love, my favorite part of TikTok is
the mom side.
No.
The real mom side?
No.
Entertaining.
Although that shit is really entertaining. My actual favorite side of TikTok is the I don't want kids side, and this is why.
Oh my God, I love that place. I belong there.
I also love like the Facebook blog. It's now blown up, but I remember finding it years ago when no one really knew about it, called I Regret Having Children. One of the best Facebook groups ever. I recommend reading through. It's wild. It really opens your eyes. But that's my favorite part of TikTok, because people are literally like, guess what? I don't want to have a kid because I like waking up in the morning gently and reading in bed and going to the coffee shop and getting my coffee and quiet and peace. And my house is immaculate and there's no weird stains on the cupboards and that I can't figure out what that is. And I don't have to do anyone else's laundry and it's quiet. Like, I'm just like, these are valid reasons.
I saw one where the girl legit said, I don't want to have kids because I'm not in an emotional place where I can ensure that they'll be raised to be decent human beings. And I was like, if more people stopped and had self-reflections like this, I feel like, one, a lot of people would wait until they're older to have kids.
Yes.
Because there's something about being financially, being in a more financially able position that just automatically sets your kids up to be like in a better standing. Absolutely. Just in general.
Absolutely.
And it's just like, that I never thought about that as being a reason why I didn't want kids. I've always said that I don't want kids because, like, I don't see myself as a mom. Like, I see myself as being an auntie. Like, I still love children. But as far as like me waking up every day and being in charge of a spawn that has to grow, and like I have to send it out into this crazy ass world, and I'm supposed to somehow not go to jail because somebody tried my baby in some shape, form, or fashion. I'm already ready to go to jail for my nieces and nephews. I can't imagine if I actually birthed the child. I would be in jail before they get through kindergarten.
Look, I truly believe that the people who don't want to have kids are the more responsible party, because they have thought it through so many different ways and they have come to the conclusion that it's just not something that they're going to be able to do to their ability where a child would deserve, right?
Yeah.
And I think one of my favorite reasons that I've seen recently was this woman who was literally like, dude, I can't imagine coming home from a long day of work and having to parent someone, having to make them dinner, make sure their homework was done. They're like, I barely
to my mom
make
all the
it
time.
through my workday, and I come home so emotionally, spiritually, mentally exhausted. I literally feel like I just want to collapse. But no, there's a child that needs me. What? And I was like, that is valid. She doesn't feel like she has it in her to pour into someone after having to come home from a long day. That is a valid reason.
I just like think about it. Our moms went and worked full days at work and came home, and there were multiple children that needed her. And then I think about this all the time. I was like, so when my mama used to come home and we hadn't taken the chicken out the freezer like we were supposed to.
You get it now. Because are you kidding me?
Irate? And we used to be like, Mom tripping? No, actually she wasn't. In fact, the fact that she didn't kill us is a miracle.
Yes.
Like, what?
Yes.
No.
And
I mean, mad at myself for not taking out the chicken.
And on the other side, there are women who truly love being moms and they get so much joy out of it. And like, it truly is their reason to get up every day in the morning and keep going. And it's their reason why they're so ambitious and they want so much for themselves. And I think that's wonderful. But I feel like if you don't have that type of feeling when you think about motherhood, then it might not be for you. Like, you might need to like reconsider. You might need to be like, you know what? Maybe, because a lot of it is societal conditioning. Like, from the second I remember being cognizant of being a person, I was playing with dolls and I was being told that I was going to be a mom and have a baby one day. Like, it's so much of it is societal conditioning, you know, from reading the fairy tales, and they live happily ever after and they had a baby. And, you know, from the nursery rhymes, like, you know, first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes baby in a carriage. Like, we are literally programmed from the moment we have a consciousness as women that that's what we're meant to do. So sometimes it takes a lifetime of just unlearning that societal programming and really coming into touch with who you are to be like, actually, I don't think that would be a good idea for me to do for whatever reason, because every reason is valid. So, yes. And I actually want to have kids, but I feel like I'd be more equipped to have them just knowing the reality of it, you know?
I mean, that super long list on TikTok about all the different things that can happen to you while you're pregnant literally haunts me. Like, my trainer posted yesterday that her gums were swollen. It's
real.
Why? She said places where you have blood flow will swell sometimes during pregnancy.
Women sacrifice a lot. I mean, that's why a lot of women talk about increased like sexual appetite during pregnancy, because the blood flow is like insane. And you're just like, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
I have no control over this. You know, my feet are a completely different size. I'm retaining water like a freaking elephant. Here we are. Like, you just don't have a choice.
Ooh, Read, Love, Listen brought up a good point. I'd be different if we lived in communities where women got help with children. Of course, folks romanticize it because of the past, but always forget Black women and other women of color were cleaning the homes.
Facts.
I think that's also another thing. The idea of community is far more spread out now than it used to be, because even when my mom had my brother, my dad was stationed overseas, so she stayed at home, but my grandma and my great grandma were there. So when my mom gave birth, after giving birth, she was not alone. There was a whole tribe of people there helping her, taking care of her. And I think about the women that don't live near a tribe.
Yeah.
And then still mother. And then God forbid they end up being a single parent, male or female, because even the single fathers be out here struggle busting too.
Yes.
But it's like that whole idea of like community and everything. It's like there are so many factors that used to be in play back in the day that are just not applicable now, that just take all of like, you want me to focus on my nuclear family, but like I need my great grandma's remedy for eczema that doesn't make sense by any medical standards, but totally works because I don't have eczema anymore. So like, you don't get that.
It's very interesting because in other cultures, not in the West, people still live in multi-generational homes, and it's not uncommon for
Mhm.
parents to go to work and not worry because grandma and grandpa are also in the house, and they can be there when the kid gets home from school, and they can help with them with their homework and make sure the dinner is on the table. So when the parents get home from work, the food cooking's already been done. The house has been clean because you also live with your auntie and she helps clean. Like it's these multi-generational family structures where everyone pitches in and helps out. And so the parenting is not left alone to just one person or two people. There are multiple people parenting all the children at different times. And so no one's overwhelmed. No one feels like they're in it on their own. There are different people around to pick up the slack. On the days that you feel like you can't do it, there's somebody else more than willing and ready to do it. So ever since we got away from that in Western culture, Western society, because if you go to other places in the world, they're still living like that. And they don't have those same, they may not have, material things, and they may be living hand to mouth, but they're not suffering with this whole parenting thing like we are, because they're having grandma, grandpa, great grandma, aunties, uncles, everybody's chipping in. So they're not even feeling it like that. I mean, you have parents that don't even barely even parent their own kids. Like I remember my mom, like she was like her grandma's favorite. And so she spent like 99.9% of her childhood with her grandma. Like her mom barely parented her because her grandma just like took her under her wing and was like obsessed with her. So it's like,
yeah. I feel like in this particular generation, if we had that level of support, cool. But a lot of us grew up realizing that our mom not only had her kids that she birthed, but the kid that she married. And don't nobody want to deal with that. Just gonna say what it is.
Well, it's kind of like men, again, in other cultures, men are still childish, but it's like when you got to go out every day and like kill your own food, you don't have time to bother your wife and be annoying. You got to go out there and kill your own food every day and not die and bring it home and skin it and prepare it for it to be cooked. You ain't got time to be annoying. So it's like you barely see your wife as it is because you're out trying to find food. Like there's this one tribe in Africa where literally their whole day revolves around following the wild game, because if they don't eat, they die.
Right.
The men spend their whole day consumed with tracking, hunting, killing, and the women are in the village doing their thing. And they don't have no problems, okay? They don't have problems. Not these type of problems like we have. So it's just like...
this topic could literally go into so many different directions.
It really could.
But at the end of the day, it's live the life that you want to live. And if somebody has some shit that they want to say, give them a bill that they can pay so that their input actually matters.
Okay.
Because I've really started telling people, I was like, that'll be $127. Like, what is that for? My electricity bill. Since you feel like you can add input here, that's the only way you're going to add input here. Put into the house so you can comment. Because what I'm doing with my life, how I'm choosing to live my life, matters nothing to nobody, because my name is on every single bill that comes into this house. You are more than welcome to input, but you better input where it matters, because I'm tired. Amen. It's taking me a long time to get here. It used to hurt my feelings so bad when my grandma would basically just shade the fuck out of me. Now I just be like, you did everything.
You just got to be like, she comes from a different time.
Yeah, it's really that mindset. And it's like, she tried to shit on my parade, but like high key, like I literally just described some of the best shit ever to her.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that. She can, if she still feels so also she has this hyper focus on me because I'm the oldest granddaughter. And apparently it's a faux pas if my sisters get married before me.
Oh, honey, I get that all the time. My brother is about to be on his second marriage and I'm the oldest. I just laugh because I'm just like, look, just because that man don't like being alone ain't got nothing to do with me.
Listen, the serial monogamer is a whole other podcast topic.
Meanwhile, we've gotten tons of comments. I wanted to see if we could go through some of them real quick. Let's see here. So going back to the whole Ebony K. Williams discussion. Let's see here.
My question in the chat: would you date the bus driver equivalent to where you are now?
Okay. Let's see.
Also, my air conditioner is acting really ghetto.
It does take a really long time to become a six-figure bus driver. Just saying. So you want to date a bus driver who's about to get his pension? You want to wait that long? No.
It's like, I don't mind if you're a bus driver and you're happy with what you do. Just understand that when I say, hey, I'm booking a flight tomorrow, I would like you to be there. You should figure it out because I'm not paying for it.
This is a good comment. I feel like the older Black folks are stuck on the past when a bus driver type of job helped Black people get out of poverty and enter the middle class. Times have changed. People marry and date on their class level. And this is something that other communities understand that I feel like kind of helps to keep Black people at the bottom of society is we get men telling us that it's okay to date down and we're wrong for not wanting to date a bus driver. Meanwhile, white men are telling their daughters, I'm sending you to college so you can meet a doctor, a lawyer, fucking paleontologist. I don't fucking know. I'm sending you there so you can meet somebody of a higher level than you or an equal or higher level than you so that we can keep elevating as a people.
Yep.
Let's see here. Nada is wrong with the blue collar man who makes money and has benefits, but they love to tell Black women to seek the bare minimum. I'm not doing 50-50. Why do they stay
Sorry.
Why do they stay wanting our women to be stressed?
That part.
I wish a guy would talk about 50-50. 50-50 these nuts.
Let's see. Also, if she was to date down and he cheats or treats her badly, they would have hit her with the reverse Uno and say you should have chose better.
You know that always, like, we really cannot win for losing because that is always the response. You're the one who decided to do X, Y, and Z with him. Yep. It's like,
let's see.
Like, your standards are not too high for the people who meet it.
Oh, this is a good one. We're in a capitalist society that's falling. So why set our women up to be in lack? On top of the Black tax, marrying below your status rarely bodes well for women, our women. Especially because finances are the cause of divorce, domestic violence, and arguments.
And we all know our numbers in terms of domestic violence.
Extremely high.
Yeah.
Would Bill Gates let his daughter marry a bus driver?
Man,
Bill Gates can't even tell you what the cost of bread is. Of course not.
Bill Gates been wearing the same Peruvian cotton t-shirts his whole career.
And FYI, my daily birth control stopped banging on the door. So
I felt so bad because I could feel like you had so much to say, but
I know you look like if Callie was like, I want you here now. How dare you close the door on me?
She does not care about me. She just she doesn't like closed doors.
Oh.
So she wanted to bust in here and probably scream nonsense.
A mess.
It's like, oh.
Let's see. Moving on to the children conversation. My mom had to help raise her nieces and nephews as a child because her older sister liked having a lot of kids she didn't want to take care of.
That's a whole nother issue. That's a whole other topic. A whole other podcast could be devoted to the procreation and neglect. And then what that actually does to kids.
Talking about the community discussion. We touched on this.
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious.
Fuck them kids.
Fuck you too. It's maybe messed up, but when Monique said, girl, fuck them kids and fuck you too, it spoke to my soul because I remember recently dating someone who said they didn't want kids only to find out that he had 2 kids. Stop.
Yep.
He was taking fuck them kids literally.
Literally.
That's like my friend who was going to talk to a guy and he said he had no kids. And then she saw him on Instagram where he was tagged at his baby shower. And his response to her was he doesn't have kids yet.
I knew it. I knew it. Men are so disconnected from the whole process sometimes. It's truly wild. Like they could literally be in the delivery room and still be disconnected.
It was
It's truly
wild. I was
shocking.
like, the boldness of him to say that to you, like you shouldn't have been snooping, is wild.
One of my favorite Reddit threads is basically just like a thread of the outrageous things that men said to their wives when they were in labor. And it was literally like, it ranges from like, come on, you dragging it. It's not that painful. It's not that bad. Suck it up. It ranges from that to one woman was literally screaming at the top of her lungs. And her husband was like, does anyone have earplugs? Another man asked if they could bring another cot for him to sleep on because the cot in there was too hard. He was about to go home and sleep in his real bed. Another man bought his PlayStation and just played it the whole time.
Stop.
Another man, I was like,
there was a Reddit post about a woman who went into labor and her husband berated, or her baby daddy berated her and was calling her all types of names and told her that she was embarrassing him and that she needed to have more decorum. And the update was that they were separated.
Yeah, a lot of these stories would be like, update, we're not together, update. And
right.
One of them was like, the nurse got so pissed that she kicked the husband out of the room and would not allow him back in. And then the mother-in-law was like getting buck with the nurse. So another nurse came in and kicked the mother-in-law out as well. So both the mother-in-law and the husband were banned from the delivery room for the duration of the delivery.
Do you know how terrible you have to be for the nurse to feel like they have to step in and kick out the father of the baby? Like, do you know how crappy of a person you have to be to reach that level?
Update, it was like, we are no longer married. I was like, oh, you think? Wow. One woman was like, hell of a time to be like pushing out an 8-pound baby to find out your man is trash. I was like,
it's like, I want to ask her what were the signs that she ignored, but I feel like I shouldn't even ask that because he did the ultimate no.
It's just, I just don't understand, not even like from a, man to woman misogyny, whatever counterpoint, but just from a human to human. You see someone in that much pain and you can be that much of an asshole,
right.
That much pain bringing your offspring, that much pain bringing your offspring to the planet, and you can be that unfeeling. That's wild.
People are dying giving birth to babies in 2023 still. If a man ever thought to fix his lips to say something like that to somebody that I knew that was in labor, I'm going to jail that night. I will see my niece or nephew in a couple of days when I bail myself out because I'm going in. Like, literally the only thing you did was send sperm.
The only thing.
You've done nothing. You better sit here and endure everything she's throwing at you so she can get this baby out and both of them can live. Because they could both die at any second now. And you're not taking this seriously enough. But yes, all in all, it's a good time. It's like, I just want to tell everybody that it was fun having Oshley and Troy in my house.
Yes.
It was hilarious for multiple reasons because I almost finished watching the show that we started watching.
Wait, we got to table
the name of the show at all.
Hold on.
Then I decided, thank you. But then I decided, like, maybe I should just wait.
You should wait, and we also have to wrap.
Yeah.
We got to wrap up only because this is an abrupt wrap up because I just realized that I'm hosting this live stream and my computer is literally at like 1% battery to go. Because otherwise it's going to be like Houston part 2 is just going to shut off and y'all going to be confused what's going on. So thank you so much for coming to our live tonight.
You paused for like 2 minutes.
She's shutting off and like her computer is shutting down as we speak, apparently.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
We gotta go. Thank you so much for coming to this live. We will catch y'all the next scheduled live for this month.
Oh my God.
Just remember, we are going to be discussing our book pick next month. Okay? Bye. Have a great night, everyone.
Also, you have to be the person to push the button also.
Yeah.
I know. Bye, bye.